This video is intended for viewers aged 13 and up. If you are not 13 yet, please leave. Hey, Primal! Hey, Cheetor. Wait a second. There's something different about you. What do you mean, Big Bot? Your colors seem different. Did you get a new paint job? My colors have always been like this, man. I don't know what you're talking about. Also, where's your gut gun? What do you mean, gut gun? You know, your iconic weapon from the TV show we're both in? Big Bot, if you're on medications, you really need to get back on them, because I have no idea what you're talking about. No, I'm serious. Something definitely is going on. What year did your figure come out? This year. 2021? Wait a second. That means Beast Wars is nostalgic again. That means we get another chance at action figures other than this crap show. Wait up, Hasbro! You forgot about me! I still need a new figure! What's up with them? Hello everybody, welcome back to the review, and today we are looking at something just a little bit special. Today we are looking at the first Beast Wars original character from the Kingdom line, Deluxe Class Cheetor. And man, usually I don't go super in-depth with the alternate mode. You know me, I'm a robot guy, so I usually like to keep the alternate mode section a bit quicker, so I can focus more on the robot mode, but I can't do that today, because this is an exquisite alternate mode. Like, oh my gosh! All in all, this is probably the best Beast mode that I have in my entire collection. Now, granted, my collection is pretty small, but legitimately, this is one of the best, if not the best, Beast mode I have ever seen. Especially out of Hasbro, if not even out of Takara, though the Beast Wars masterpieces are going for a different aesthetic than what this is. As you can tell, unlike the masterpieces, this isn't going for the original animation model Cheetah. It's a goofy cheetah, that's a goofy cheetah. It'll always hold a place in our hearts as Transformers fans, but this is going for that kind of real-world cheetah aesthetic, to kind of go in with what Siege and Earthrise are doing with their G1 bots, where, especially Earthrise, where they're basically what the G1 is meant to be, but it's meant to be kind of more realistic, if that makes sense. And they are kind of going with that aesthetic for the Beast modes. Starting off at the head, the only thing that really makes it seem non-realistic is the eyes. They are completely glossed over, which is for the sake of robot mode. Which we'll get to. But yeah, the spot painting is exquisite. There's no real slop in it. It's beautifully done, and yeah. The only bit that has a bit of slop on mine is the nose, but that could have been me, because you kind of got to grab here, so I might have accidentally chipped that. But yeah, look at them for QC though. As always, Hasbro can have a bit of a rough time with QC, but yeah, this painting is exquisite. Moving on to the torso, I love the way that this fur is painted. You know, It's kind of a creamy yellow, but it works. It works oddly well, you know? Like, obviously these colors aren't the most realistic. They're kind of a bit cheesier, but I will assure you it does look better in person. It does look better in person than it does in promotional images. At least the yellow does. Not so much the blue, but the blue isn't really a problem here. But these legs look great. They're nice and thin, as you would expect with a cheetah, but certain bits are as muscly as you would expect. But, like, it's just so well done, man. I am extremely impressed with the torso. If you've seen the original Cheetor figure, you would know that he's a fat cat. He's Garfield levels. But not so with this figure. It's extremely thin and lithe with the way that they engineered it. I am extremely impressed, especially with how decent the robot mode looks. This is just so well done. This is masterpiece level, guys. You know? This is masterpiece levels of engineering here. And honestly, it's a bit simpler than that, but it works. They do what they need to do, and it works. Kind of the worst part of the cheetah mode is, I guess, the back legs. When you're looking at it at the side, it looks very cohesive. When you look at it from the back, you really get your only bits of kibble other than the hands. Yeah, the back, the cheetah legs are blue. But it's not that bad. It's ignorable. It's not that bad. And he doesn't really have a butthole, but he does have a ding-dong. But yeah, it's not that bad. I like the way that the weapon integrates. I do wish it had a bit of a swivel, but we deal. We deal. But yeah. All in all, this cheetah mode is exquisite. Something that you would not expect for the price that it is. It's only 20 bucks, and it's just exquisitely engineered. Yes, it's a bit small and light, but it's great. It's great. It's freaking great. It's freaking great. But yeah, as per usual, for accessories you get a randomized collector card, but the other accessories I'm not going to get into because they are integral to the design, but we'll get to it in robot mode. Thus, we get to get into the cheetah mode's articulation, which is extremely good. So, the head has no articulation other than an opening mouth, which is nice, and is also necessary for the articulation, so you can do something really weird and creepy with that. So, yeah. Both legs have the same articulation, so we're just going to look at one. There is a full swivel that allows you to go in a full 360, as well as a ball joint up here, which allows it to go outward, like so, and allows it to swivel inward and outward. There is also a hinge at the lower leg, which allows it to go inward like this and out. That's about the amount of range you're going to get. As well as a ball joint at the foot. Apparently the Masterpiece didn't have that. Apparently the Masterpiece just missed out on some of the foot articulation. So yeah, I can give up a bit of head articulation for foot articulation, even though they could have easily implemented it. There's a cut right here. The legs have a bit of similarities with the real robot legs, where they're able to, at this part, they're able to hinge backward about that far. That's a bit far. You're probably good getting it out to there. And then there's a hinge here, which is very similar to the previous hinge, but it's able to go a lot further inward, but that's more so for the sake of transformation. Once again, foot is on a ball joint. Yes, it's not a super crazy amount of articulation, but for a beast mode, which is usually just a brick, it's really good. It's really freaking good articulation-wise. However, now it's time to move on to size comparisons. In cheetah mode, Cheetor stands about 3 inches tall, and since it's a cheetah mode and it's more long than tall, he is about, to the tip of the tail, about 6 3/4 inches to the tip of the tail. And to compare him to other figures, here we have Marvel Legends The Thing, Star Wars Black Series The Child, Kingdom Deluxe Paleotrex, my previous review, the Kingdom Deluxe Class Warpath, and finally, Big Bot himself, the Power Prime's Optimus Primal. I can't wait for my Voyager edition to come in. So yeah, all in all, this cheetah mode is stellar. In all honesty, I would say I recommend it already for this cheetah mode alone. However, you're not just getting this for cheetah mode, you're also getting this for Cheetor mode. So yeah, let's get into that transformation. Starting off, you're going to want to rip his tail off, as you would, because, yeah, it's his weapon. It's his weapon accessory. Yeah. From there, you're going to want to straighten out the legs, fold out the feet slightly, and then pull the cheetah legs all the way in and move the feet all the way out, so that he can get his thick legs. And that's the legs for you. Moving on to the body, you're going to want to fillet him in half. I like to grab around the hands and then pry my thumbs in there. You're going to want to fillet him down in half. Sometimes the arms will go with it, sometimes they won't. It's fine, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if they do or not. And then from there, you're going to want to untab the hands, swivel them around, and then swivel the hands around so that they're in their proper position. Like so. From there, we take the cheetah head, open its mouth as far as it'll go, and then unhinge the head. We're going to leave the Cheetor head swivel around for dramatic effect, and then you're going to hinge it down onto this construction here so that the cheetah mode just tabs in. You know? From there, you want to move the arms out, hinge these bits in and then move the arms back into place however you would like them, you know. Moving to the back, you're going to want to just cross the legs so that they are screen accurate. And then we go in for a dramatic head reveal. And here we have Cheetor, all transformed. And yeah, he's a pretty good Cheetor. Not perfect, definitely, but yeah, he's a pretty good Cheetor. As is to be expected from this line, the painting and the sculpting is pretty good. The sculpting is definitely stealing the show. But it's kind of good that he isn't super painted, because that makes him really fun to pose around and transform. But yeah, let's get a closer look onto that Cheetor body. Starting off with the head, this is undeniably Cheetor. The sculpting is great. I love how it is sculpted. I love the orange eyes. I also really like the really tiny maximal symbol that's just right there in his head. Really nicely done. Really nicely picked out. I love the way that the paint was picked out. However, not so much a fan of the colors. My big problem with this figure is definitely the colors. The baby blue is not that appealing. It does look a bit better in person, but only just a little. And then I wish there was more metallic on this mode. It's like maybe like these elbows, maybe the head, maybe these bits on the legs. But yeah, the Cheetor head looks sculpting-wise looks spectacular. It's just really painting where it just kind of falls flat, in all honesty. Moving on to the torso, they're going for more of a I think they're going for more of a toy-accurate thing, primarily seen in the way that the cheetah head is done. Rather than folding flat onto his chest, it's kind of protruding outwards, which, it's fine. They're, I guess, reinventing Cheetor, I guess? I don't know. But yeah, this is fine. I can deal. But yeah, I like the way the spots are still, as per usual. And this is where the blank, soulless eyes really come to shine. These shoulder constructions are a bit awkward. It's more so for articulation. I do wish because you can see the stupid discs back there. I wish they were picked out in a nice gold paint. I wish these areas were picked out in more paint, but they do limit posability, but we'll get there when we get there. Once again, these are a bit underpainted, but the yellow looks fine. The baby blue is really where the color issue really comes in, but yeah, I wish these were more gold, in all honesty. Come to the waist, yeah, that's Cheetor's waist. Once again, wish it was in more metallic, but the sculpting is very nice. Also, I'm going to look at the upper legs too. With the lighting, you can barely see the sculpting, but there is sculpting there for his weird knee thigh pads. I wish they were picked out in gold. You can't really see them super well when he is in cheetah mode, so I kind of wish they were picked out in gold, like with a lot of the other bits. But yeah, I guess it's kind of consistent. Whatever. The biggest sculpt issue is his lower legs. These are thick thighs, especially protruding outward because of the cheetah leg. I get it, but it is a bit thick. It is definitely compensating for that cheetah mode. And these feet are also really tiny, and that can lead to stability issues. But yeah. Yeah. But, yeah, whatever. Yeah, this Cheetor is definitely flawed, but I do enjoy him. He's a fine Cheetor, a good, decent Cheetor to add to your collection. And he's probably one of the best, and he's definitely the cheapest one on the market. But yeah, whatever. But in order to look at it, we gotta look at his accessories. Sadly, he doesn't come with a gut gun. He instead comes with this axe whip thing, which is a reference, I believe, to his Transmetal 2 figure. I don't know. I didn't grow up with Beast Horrors. But yeah, in order to mess with that, you just plug the tail bit into the hand, and that does chip the paint a little bit, and this honestly looks a bit awkward, because either you gotta hold it like this, where the axe bit is on this side, or you gotta hold it like this, where the axe is going inward. I've also seen people kind of hold it like this and use it as like a whip to go cha cha. And that does a bit of a better job, but it's a flawed accessory. I do wish he came with a gut gun. The RED figure does come with a gut gun, so I hope that is compatible with this figure. If it is, I will be buying that just for the gut gun to give to this guy. Once again, as you saw, he comes with a randomized collector card, but I want to get into articulation. Let's get into this guy's articulation. Cheetor's articulation is pretty decent, but there are flaws. Well, we'll get to them. Starting off with the head, it's on a ball joint, but with the way that the ball joint is, it's not really able to look down much. It's able to look up a lot, though. I think that's a nice. And it's also able to swivel around a decent amount, though it's a bit clicky and clickety. And yeah, but yeah, heads on a ball joint, you can't diss that. Moving on to the arms, he's got butterfly joints. However, I feel like that's purely because these bits really limit articulation. You gotta either bow them all the way back, or you gotta bow these bits really forward. But yeah, it's nice that he comes with a nice butterfly joint in his articulation. His shoulders, they're on typical universals, which do hit the backpack. But other than that, they're able to go full range, and they're also able to hinge out. But once again, the backpack does really hinder it, so you gotta hinge it forward and then do that. Biceps have a swivel, as per usual, as well as there's a single jointed hinge that allows it to go a good bit greater than 90 degrees. And the wrists are on a mushroom peg swivel, which is always greatly appreciated. His waist swivels, which is always great to see, and his waist piece is on a hinge, a very nice ratchety hinge, which isn't really needed because it doesn't really help the articulation of the hips, which are able to go forward that far. They aren't really able to go back until you really hinge it to the side, in which you got a little bit of a backward, but this butt really does hinder articulation, and he's also able to hinge about that far. That's decent. It's not great, but it's decent. He's got some really annoying thigh swivels, which like get stuck in certain areas. You really gotta like cycle them around a couple times before they're able to do a nice full smooth spin. And you're also able to have a single jointed hinge that's able to go in that far, but it's also able to go forward because of the cheetah mode. And the forward's actually better than the back, but yeah, don't tell them I told you that. And also, foot is on a hinge, rocker hinge that allows it to go forward that far, back that far, and it's also able to rock to the side. That's always great. That's a Siege standard, as I call it. I call it the Siege standard. But yeah. Yeah. As per usual, this guy does uphold the Siege standard. You know, but the butterfly joints do a good job in helping him with that extra bit of expressiveness. Though, yeah, the head articulation is a bit annoying, and those shoulder pads are also super annoying in trying to get poses, but you can circumvent them easily if you're just messing around with them and you're able to figure it out. Now to move on to size comparisons, Cheetor is honestly a bit small for Siege. Not so much in his height, but more so in his width, but I'm not going to measure that. To measure his height, he's about 5.5 inches, I'd say. And to compare him to other figures, here we have Thing, Iron Man, Paleotrix, Warpath, and Big Bot. So yeah, all in all, this Cheetor is a pretty good representation of his original Beast Wars character. His cheetah mode is definitely the standout, being extremely well proportioned and having a nice fun transformation to get there that isn't really too hindered with annoyingness. Yeah, the robot mode's a bit worse with my primary problem coming from the colors and certain bits of sculpting. But all in all, he's a really good representation of Cheetor, so if you happen to find him in the wild, or even if you want to order him, I definitely recommend you pick him up, especially if you're a Beast Wars fan. But, yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. Next week, I'm going to be covering Black Arachnia, if you're a Beast Wars fan, so be sure to stick around for that. And if you want to be notified when that comes out, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell, I guess. If you like this video, like it, and then leave a comment about what you think I should be doing better, because I suck. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this review, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!